I'm doing this video primarily for non-programmers to show you how you can use coding in ChatGPT to do things that you might not be able to do in ChatGPT otherwise, or not as easily. You can do this with the free version or the paid version. I'm doing it with the paid version. And if you look up over at the left upper corner, this is where you select the model. I'm using the ChatGPT 01 preview. By the time you watch this, maybe the 01 version's already out, or another version. Just use the best version that you can, but the 01 version is supposed to be really good for code and mathematical problems, so that's why I'm using it. It will take a little longer to think about, so there's an advantage to that on some code at least. But you can still use the other versions in the free version to create code and do this trick as well. All right, so what we're going to do, like if we just ask ChatGPT to write a program or to write something that needs to write code to produce, it's going to write it in Python, and that's fine if you're a programmer or in IT, because you probably already know how to run a Python program or a script. But if you're someone who doesn't really program or has never programmed at all, that's not a real steep learning curve to get it running, but it's going to be more difficult for you. So there's a way that you can have it generate a file that you can just run within a web browser, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create an HTML5 file, or we're going to tell it to code in HTML5. And if we do that, we can do a lot of stuff. So I'm going to do a quick example here. I have a folder that I named GPT. You can name it whatever you want. Name it data, name it docs, name it whatever you want. This is any folder, really. What you want to make sure of is you want to go to view right here and go down to where it says show, and make sure that you have file name extensions checked so that you see the file name extensions, because otherwise it will hide the file extensions, and we need to make sure we change the extension name when we do this. That being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to ask it to code something for me, and I'm going to go to So I told it to use HTML5, and that's an important thing you need to remember, to make a pie chart of it should be the market share of each auto manufacturer. So this is going to make us a pie chart, hopefully, of that. And you can use any chart type, and you can do different things. This is just one example. I'm going to give you an interactive example too, so you can mess with this with other things as well, but I thought this was a pretty good example to use. So we're going to hit enter and let the thing think about it. And since this is ChatGPT 01, it thinks longer, and you can see it's creating a chart. It's thinking about how it's going to go about it. Now, you need to wait until it's done. And the way you know for sure it's done is there will be the /HTML at the bottom of the code, because it can take a while to do it. And it will actually give you instructions here what to do with this code and everything at the bottom. And so you'll want to pay attention to that in case it requires you to do any extra stuff on it. So we're going to click copy code right here. And we are going to go back to our folder here, and we're going to go new text doc. And we're going to double click and open this. Close that. And we're going to paste the text into it. And then we're going to go save right. And then we're going to go here and we're going to go to rename this file. And you make sure that you get the text ending on it as well. And we're going to name this cars.html. You can name it whatever you want. We're going to go yes there. It's changed it so that this file will open in Internet Explorer, and here it has the chart. And so you can adjust this and tell it to resize it and do all sorts of things, or you can resize it yourself. But this is just an example. So it's created it, and it's actually put the manufacturers, color coded it, put a legend and everything in here. And it's created this in HTML, so you can use this however you want at this point. So let's do another example. So this is really a non-interactive thing, but you can tell it to make interactive things as well. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to go use HTML5, and so we told it to use HTML5 and write a program that calculates gas mileage and cost per mile. So we're going to hit enter here, give it a little bit of time to think. All right, so we're going to go up here and click copy code, and then we're going to go back over to our folder here. We're going to create a new text document. We're going to open this up. We're going to paste everything into the document, and then we're going to go save. So it's saved it right to here. And then we're going to go here and we're going to rename it. Make sure we get the file extension as well. And we're going to name this mileage.html. So we're going to open this one. And so it gives us this little form here. And so we can put how many miles we've driven. Let's put 163 gallons of gas used. Let's put 9.5. In cost per gallon, we'll put 350. And let's calculate. And so once we hit calculate, it tells us gas mileage is 17.16 miles per gallon. Cost per mile is 20 cents, and the total cost of gas is 33.25. So it's calculated that all out for us. So you can see how useful this would be. You can make a calculator for anything if you want to create a calculator to calculate out what a mortgage would be or interest would be on something, or any type of thing that you would want to do as well. And these are just two examples. You can use your imagination to create other types of programs, but this is a very easy way to run the program within your web browser. And so you can do kind of a static program that just runs a one-off thing based on the inputs you gave it, or you can create something that will take different inputs and do something else. Now you may have to tweak your program a little bit and go back and tell it, now I want it in such and such a format, or I want this or that, or I want this option on it. Particularly the more complex the program is that you have. But this should enable you to do a lot of things you weren't ordinarily able to do if you didn't know how to program. And if you do know how to program, this will allow you to do quick programs that might have taken you a while to figure out for whatever reason. Now, the other thing is, I would stress that on this type of thing, you wanna check a few examples on it to make sure it's actually working the way you think it's working, because ChatGPT can make mistakes. But if you're using the 01 version, or they also call it the strawberry version, if you're using that, you're going to have less problems because it's supposed to be more accurate. And as time goes on, the models that they use to produce code will get more sophisticated. So it's always best probably to use the most recent version of ChatGPT and the best version to do this.